Hi, I'm Mark Trousdale here in Amsterdam at Money 2020 Europe, and I'm here with Bahadir Yilmaz. And Bahadir, thank you so much for being with us.
Great to be here, thanks.
Could you introduce your role, what you do at ING, and something fun or interesting about yourself that has nothing to do with what you do professionally?
All right, I'll try. My name is Bahadir Yilmaz. I'm the Chief Analytics Officer of ING. I run a group of around 500 experts in AI, machine learning, advanced analytics topics, and the platforms around it. And we deliver majority of the strategy and deliverables to the whole organization group globally. We are active in like all ING countries, so like we are a global team. I'm personally coming from an engineering background. I spent my whole career at ING, and digital transformation. So like it's a bit like what I really like to do.
It's your passion.
It's my passion. Yes. Apart from that, like hobbies, I think I really like very boring international movies, and I like to follow them. I like to put my phone aside and like really follow like festival movies, art house movies, and like really try to enjoy them. Some people find it really boring, but like I really like it.
That's probably quite meditative. It probably takes your mind away from the hyper analytics that you're, analytical stuff that you're doing all the time. Well, that's very good. Can you talk a little bit about how ING, and you for that matter, think about delivering intelligent insights and analytics to your clients, to your colleagues?
We really need to understand like banks. Like banks, if you have a good market position, you have tremendous amount of data. That doesn't mean that like you should look at all that data every time, like because like there are of course like consents and like data protection related considerations that are binded by legal considerations, but also like by ethical considerations that you should have. But you have that data, so like the real challenge is like how can you turn that into a functionality that your clients like? Because like if you are able to turn that into an insight that clients wants to see, or like if the clients wants to use, then they will immediately give you the consent, temporary, time bound, and like really purpose bound. Then you will be able to quickly use that data to like do the customer's request. A good example of this one is like how you can do like credit allocation underwriting. If you can look at, if you can have the functionality to analyze clients' data, you're able to understand a lot of things like that you would probably ask documents for. And the customers, like given the transparency, given the optionality to opt in and out, and given the like security around it, they are really willing to share their data to go through the processes. So I think that's the role of the bank. How can you get your data and make it a useful service or insight for the client?
Well, especially if it makes less onerous some of these processes whereby they would have to give you, I don't know, additional documentation.
Indeed, like the client's purpose is like getting that service fulfilled and not necessarily like talking to the bank or like providing the documents. If you can find an easier way of doing it, like people opt into that.
Yeah, understood. What's the role of AI in delivering these, insights and analytics?
Once you have your data sorted out, like AI, and I'm using this right now very broadly, like machine learning, some statistical models, and generative AI, is very good method of like really analyzing that data and coming to a decision or an insight. And I'll stick to the consumer loans example. Like if you have your client's data, like transaction data from your bank or like from the other bank that the client is working on, and if you have their consent, then you can use AI, machine learning, to really process that data to understand like what are the elements of like credit worthiness, what are the considerations for client file, and like you can do that at scale by lowering the risk cost for the whole ecosystem, and that's the role of AI. If you have the data, then like getting the best insights out of that data.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I think to your point, it all starts, rubbish in, rubbish out, as they say, so it all starts with the right data. So that's an interesting use case. Are there any other sort of salient use cases that you found to really focus in on and add value? Because I mean, I think a lot of us hear about AI as a panacea solution that's going to solve every problem, but obviously it's about specific problems. Are there other ones that come to mind that are particularly appealing to your clients or your people?
Clients really like the use cases or AI applications that really makes their life easier. So the people are not really interested in like what is working behind the scenes. They don't want to even know like if there's a human or an agent behind the scenes. Like they really want to understand if the bank is able to solve their problems quickly with high accuracy, high personalization. That's, I think, the way to look at it. There I see big potential for AI to be used in like providing services in a personalized manner, providing services 24/7, providing services faster in a straight-through processing manner. And I really like the use cases around personalized messages, because like not all the clients have the same financial literacy. So like being able to send a document with different literacy levels is also a personalization lever that is going to be very beneficial for the society. So whenever there is productivity gains for the client, I really like them, and like they are getting traction. Whenever there is a bit of a creativity involved, so for example, video generation, music generation, or like email generation, like that is a bit auto-generated, I don't see the customer traction. They really don't want to have that element. So like we really need to differentiate between what really adds value to the process, to the client, and what really doesn't add, but maybe like it's very interesting from a technology perspective.
Because it feels fake, inauthentic.
People really look for value, real value that is given to them. And if there's real value, the adoption is tremendous. Like every segment within the market, every generation is able to adopt it. And like if it's only adding like maybe technological value but lacking the emotional value, I see a trend of like not getting traction.
Yeah, if it's technology for technology's sake.
Yeah.
I like that, emotional value. So do you see then, I mean, you mentioned messaging, is there a role for AI and analytics at scale in communications with clients, and I don't know, portals, reporting, messaging, as long as it's not sort of doing your emails for you?
I think we really need to differentiate a couple of things. So like first, like the tone and the content of the message. People really like tailored messages.
Yeah.
And tailored doesn't necessarily have to mean that auto-generated, because tailored can mean also, like as I said, like financial literacy element, for example. It's a very important benefit of like AI. Going forward, you would be able to simplify or over-complexify the messages that you are able to send to different clients, which is needed, and which is also going to help in financial literacy. On the other hand, like we see certain segments of population are not able to get personalized, tailored advice. So for example, you cannot really give like top-notch financial advice to every single client, because like it's there are scalability constraints.
Right.
But going forward, this is something that we are exploring as well. With AI, we would be able to offer not a chatbot, but a financial advisory service bot, an assistant, a personal assistant that is next to you, that is not maybe giving you financial advice, but that is able to answer your questions about like certain investment options. Yeah. That is in the near future, so like we're not that far away from that. I think these communication elements are gonna intensify.
Okay, fair enough. You talked a bit about the different flavors of AI, and because it can mean many things. How do you think about more probabilistic, whether it's statistical models or whether it's using LLMs or other foundational models versus more algorithmic, calculations, decision trees? How do you see those interplaying to get to the right solution for clients or your own, or for your colleagues?
This is one of the best questions that I received on this topic. This is also something that I'm quoting a lot. I think organizations are a bit steered to think deterministically, like because algorithms that we've used so far are really rule-based, or like complex rule-based that are easy to explain and easy to conceptualize. So like a level of abstract thinking is needed, but you can say if this happens, then this will happen. With AI, especially with machine learning, but also with Gen AI, this moves away, because like then you have to take a bit of a zoomed out approach, and like you have to evaluate the overall effectiveness of the system rather than every single decision. And that is a big transformation for organizations. Individually, you can find individuals who are able to think that way, but you have an organization that is designed to think in a deterministic way, and taking it away and saying maybe this file will be wrong, or like we're gonna like maybe have a small mistake, but humans are also making errors.
Of course.
But our system is gonna be much safer is a very hard change to make. So like that's the real challenge, I would say.
Understood. Well, where are we? I know it's hard to make predictions, but where do you think we're going from here? Do you have any sort of forecasts on where you think AI will take us, or challenges we'll face, or key decisions we'll need to make, ethical or otherwise?
Last year I was here, and like I said, like we're going to the age of AI, but like it still needs some time, because like certain elements needs to mature. And partially I was also skeptic when it comes to certain capabilities, but there are also like a lot of people, especially who are not really into this, like they were really skeptical about it. And they were saying like, is this another hype? Like you said the same thing about crypto. That was a bit like a trend that we were seeing. This year it all went away. I think like many people, like really big majority right now, are able to see the benefits and potential of AI, and they are coming to me and saying, okay, like I tried this weekend, it worked. I wasn't expecting this to work. Can I apply this into my business process? So like, how can we fix that? So I think really the traction and the belief is gonna accelerate from here. But then we will have some bottlenecks. This is a people-led transformation. There are still risk considerations and ethical dilemmas that we need to answer. There is tech component, there is like US cloud-based considerations, and those are gonna become more and more commonly discussed.
Well, Bahadir, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.